Hi everybody, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to the webinar. Today we have a very interesting speaker, a very eminent speaker, Zankhana Mistry from Dubai. So welcome Zankhana to the CTT webinar. A pleasure to have you on board with us. Zankhana comes from a very strong educational and corporate background into well-being arena as a therapist and a well-being advocate. She engages with businesses to advocate mental, emotional, and physical well-being of employees for a healthier business. Zankhana also facilitates certified trainings in Psychogeometry by Susan Dellinger, which is the current topic, transpersonal regression therapy by Tasso Institute of Holland, and integrated. Sorry, I could. And integrated clinical hypnotherapy by EKAA Foundation. Zankhana is also a member of International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association. Besides this, there's a long list of credentials to Zankhana's profile, and she conducts trainings, workshops, pre-talks to bring awareness at various levels within the society. Today, Zankhana brings us a very interesting concept of psychogeometrics and how can that be used in decoding communication. Very, very interesting. I look forward to what exactly psychogeometrics is and how does it help in decoding communication. And with that, before I hand over to Zankhana, for everybody, as usual, this webinar is entitled for CCUs. So kindly fill in the form and submit at the end of the webinar, and you'll get your CCUs in November of this year. All right, so with this, welcome everybody and welcome Zankhana and over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashwara. And hello, everyone. It's so interesting from all phases of life and places in the world that you all are here today. I really feel privileged that I'm here addressing you guys. One thing I would admit with Ashwara is that this topic is very, very interesting. And I hope you find it interesting too. It goes very well with what CTT stands for and what they are doing and what they are advocating as well. So I hope you guys get something out of it. Thank you for introducing me. So today's topic, I would like to share the slide. So let me do that. That way it will be much more interactive. Okay, can you guys see the... Okay, it's visible, right?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, excellent. So, all right, let's talk about psychogeometry. And we are talking about communication. I think being a coach truly means allowing the communication to flow, and as well as initiate and direct the communication in a way that the end result or whatever the outcome is favorable to everyone. And today we are going to see how psychogeometry helps in decoding this communication. So psychogeometry is originated by Susan Dellinger. When I say originated, it's because it's her own creation, her own idea. And it's beautifully combining the science with the human. So you'll see how this helps in understanding people and thereby addressing the communication needs. So Susan Dellinger is based in US currently, and this is her trademark. She also has a book on it. She defines the series of traits and characteristics associated with the shapes, which are the geometric shapes. And she went over for the research. Her research took 2 phases, and through the end of it, she created also an inventory wherein you can fill in the answers and you can get your own geometric shape defined. So we'll get into that without further delay. What is psychogeometry? So we're talking about human personality. Psychology as such really focuses on human personality, how the personality trait comes up, along with the brain functions, which is a very scientific aspect of it as well. So I would say the inventories that are created, they are always about how the behavior would be. Here we are combining the behavior with what happens in the brain. And that's why it's a great combination. It's scientifically backed, psychologically created. In that regard, both the aspect of our being, our brain functioning and our behaviors, the communication falls somewhere in the middle, because it's not just the brain function, or it's not just being human. Communication is creating a link between it. And that's why this really works through it. So the first question I want to ask all of you is, I mean, whoever has the answer, please feel free to just unmute and answer. What do you think is communication? What do you call a communication?
Yes, Sanjay.
Sure.
Yes, communication is something what when we just convey our masses to other people directly, and by it's our way how other people is just understanding it, and clearly if we are delivering our masses properly, that is something what communication.
Brilliant. Delivering the message properly, connecting to the audience who you're delivering it to, and that's what is communication. Also, when you're delivering the message, communication, if it's only one-sided, would that really help? Even if you feel you have delivered the message correctly and just the way they like it, would that be enough? No, you would need the response as well, because what you're delivering has to be reciprocated, right? They have to understand, they have to react to it, and that completes the cycle or the chain of communication. So looking at this, these are 5 shapes in front of you. When we understand these shapes and connect with the psychology behind it, we will come to understanding of how the communication really helps. When you know who you are first and who the other person is, what is their, I would say, what triggers them, what is that they need in terms of understanding what you're saying, then the delivery becomes more important, right? If they don't understand, then it's just going to go up in the sky. So these shapes are just the 5 shapes. I just want you to look at these shapes, just observe these shapes, and we're going to understand. This first exercise that we're going to do is to understand who we are first before we understand who other people are, right? So in that regard, just look at the shapes, and in your mind, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, what I would request you to do is write down number for each shape. Which shape feels first number for you, right? Which shape feels like the best shape that you can see? Which connects with you the most? Whichever way, just give them number. Let's say I would say triangle is number 1 for me, circle is number 2 for me. So just give them number, and we'll come to understanding it just a little bit later in the course of this. And while you're doing that, we all are aware of, I'm just going to introduce the left brain, right brain concept, right? We all know that we have left brain, right brain. We also say these to a lot of people, right? You're a left brain person, you're a right brain person. I hope you guys have a little understanding of that. I'm sure you do. And for those people who may not understand this, I'm just going to break it down a little while you are still giving yourself the numbers for the shapes. So the left brain is supposed to be this very logical, very detail-oriented, sequential aspect of our being. And the right brain is something where we are very creative, we are very receptive. The emotions are originating from our right brain. So right brain people tend to get a little bit more emotional and more connected in different ways. Left brain people are more straightforward, you know, very logical, very structured, talk straight to me kind of people. Yeah, just the concept. If everyone is done, you can just give me a thumbs up so I know I can move on. Great. All right. Now, while you're looking at these shapes, I just want to address that we have a dominant shape within us, and that's what you're going to number as number 1. Having said that, all these shapes reflect a part of us. And different times in our life, we engage with the shape that is not probably our dominant shape. And you'll see how. So I'm going to do a little exercise. If everyone has done that, let me just switch this. I'm sorry, I'm using 2 screens. So let's do a little exercise. Let me take you all to an airport. You know, airport is a place where we all usually, you know, go, and we go a little early. We have time, so we sit. And probably the best place for people who enjoy watching and observing other people. So just for today, for 5 minutes, let's just assume that we are all sitting at an airport. And while we are sitting at an airport, we're gonna just watch these people. I'm going to give you information about who you are looking at. There is this person, number 1, who arrives considerably ahead of time. And he checks the flight schedule on time at home before he arrives, you know, very, very meticulous about it. Prefers very precise information and detailed instruction, which counter to go, who to approach, what time is the check-in, what time is the departure, etc. He spends waiting time alone in a lounge with a newspaper, likes to read, no nonsense, not talking to everyone, appears well organized and orderly, likes to plan things in advance, and not very comfortable with last-minute changes. Now, when you're looking at some person like this person number 1, and look at the shapes that are underneath, who do you think this person is in terms of the shape? Which shape feels right for this person?
Red triangle.
Anyone else?
I would say circle.
Circle.
Okay.
Some people have put it in the chat square.
Sorry?
Some people have put it in the chat as square.
Okay. So if you can read the chat, because I'm not having the access to everything right now, but who is the majority that they're thinking this person would be?
So majority is coming out as square.
And they're absolutely right. This is a square. Okay. So this is a green square. Why? Because green squares, when you look at the square, what do you see? You see perfectly aligned corners and equal distance, right? It's a very structured shape. And this is how square people are. They're very structured. They're very meticulous. They like the job to get done well. They need to be organized. They pay so much attention to detail. So these are the people who would tell you if they miss something, they would tell you, go to my office, open that drawer, in the 3rd file on the drawer from the top, the 3rd page or the 2nd page is that, you know, that's what I need. Can you just send me the copy of that? These are the squares, right? And after that, please close the drawer properly, put the file back. They're very meticulous. Whoever feels that they have given square as their number 1, I hope you guys are resonating with it, right? They prefer routine. So they don't like sudden shift in their change because they have already planned, right? They plan everything in a day. I get up at this time, I'm gonna eat my breakfast at this time. So if there's a sudden change in plan, that really disturbs their world. They're very practical and realistic. They don't like talking. Did I lose the, okay, yeah. Very concerned about the security, straightforwardness, very cautious. So they are not probably the very high risk taker. They would assess the whole situation first before they make any commitments or they decide anything. The most structured shape of all. Their belief is I need life to be predictable, right? Now, if this makes sense to you, whoever numbered square as 1, would you resonate with this information? Yeah, you can just unmute and say yeah, or, you know, there's this thumbs up sign so I can see the signs floating. It gives me a little bit more interaction. Who here is square? Do you see Ashura?
Maybe nobody is a square and as number one, probably.
Well, this is brilliant. And
Because
which is
nobody
fine.
is saying that, so I don't think anybody is a square.
Hi, Zankhana, this is Bhumika here. I do resonate with some of the qualities of a square, but not completely. I mean, I did rate it 1.
Did you give square as number 1 for you? Was square your number 1 sign? Shape rather? Bhumika?
I did number 1. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hello?
So your dominant shape can be square. Of course, we'll see how the other traits will show up from the other signs.
Great.
The profession that these squares ideally fall into are accountants, the bank, constructions, doctor, engineer, where there is very, very precise approaches needed, right? Where you have to be very, very meticulous about things, where you have to be very organized about things, right? So these kind of jobs are the best suitable jobs for the squares.
Pooja wants to speak. Pooja, you can
Hi,
speak.
Pooja.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So it's a mix. So when I think of square, the more and more I think of it, there are certain aspects that I can absolutely resonate to. Like if I say I'm very organized, I'm not very organized as a person, but I'm very structured. I know it's a little contradicting, but I like to follow my day. I know that I have to do this and this and this. It's a routine that I need to follow. And if it just goes beyond that, I feel irritated and angry at myself. But at the same time, I'm not organized. I don't pay attention to detail. I'm practical and realistic. I prefer routines and procedure. I'm concerned about securities and I'm a low risk taker.
Very good. So your dominant shape can be square, right? Or the box, and we'll go to that. Thank you for sharing that, Pooja. You'll understand by the time we reach all the 5 shapes. You'll understand how the dominance, the number 1, number 2, and then the rest, how they impact or what are the contributions from all the other shapes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing. So now that we understand what kind of personality shapes are, let's just look at. Because remember, we're talking about communication. So let's just look at what works for a square. When you are communicating with a square or the box, what really works for a box? They're detail-oriented, you know that? They're preservant. They're patient people. They will take their time. So these are not the kind of people who will go with a proposal and say, sign, sign, sign. No, they will take their time. So the best way to communicate with square is that you give your information and sit back, because they will have to check everything before they come and give you an answer. You cannot push them. They are knowledgeable, they are consistent. Why knowledgeable? Because they will do their research, they will do their thorough research. That's their trait. They're consistent, they're predictable because they like routine, so you know exactly what they are going to do. They choose friends very carefully because they really don't like surprises. So they like the routine, consistent people, same places to go to eat sometimes. They value traditions, they're very cautious, practical and logical. We already spoke about that, right? What does not work for them? So excess attention to detail. If you give too much attention to detail, that also doesn't work for them, because they like to work in their own space. This is how much research I need to do. Complaining, because they don't understand complaining. They're like, if it's not working, find out what's working, right? It has to work. Procrastinating doesn't work with them because they are so structured. They know exactly when they will finish. So if procrastinating, if anyone around them is procrastinating, that's very difficult for them to digest. Resistant to change, aloof and loner, conservative, inflexible people. low risk taker, people who take decisions at the spur of the moment, does not work with square or the box. Not expressive, does not work with them. Okay, so does that make sense so far? How the square person is, what works with them, what are their characteristic traits? Any questions so far?
I have a question here.
Yes.
On one hand, you said that these people themselves are low risk takers, right?
Yes.
And interestingly, what doesn't work with them also is low risk takers. Did I
Yes.
understand correct?
Yes.
And why would it be so?
Because how they take risk is in their mind, right? So it could be a very, if I go and tell them, no, I'm not gonna take any risk, and if they have already presumed and done all the calculation, then for them it's not a risk.
Okay.
So you can't approach them that way, right? You can approach them saying, I have done all the research and this makes sense. That gets there, or that clicks the button for them.
So the data will kind of work with them.
Correct. The data takes precedence.
Oh, thank you. Interesting.
Sure. Now let's look at the next person. The next person that we are looking at arrives at the gate looking very confused about whom to approach. Changes his mind about the seats often. Oh no, I want this seat, I want that seat, I want window, no, I'm okay with that. Asks 100 questions. Buys a book, self-help title from the bookstore, those heal yourself and, train your brain kind of things. Their dress or their image conveys being formal yet informal. Fleeting eye contact. So they'll make eye contact and then they'll shy off. Trying to absorb everything, but never really pausing anywhere. So they're everywhere in a way. Which shape resonates most with this person or this personality?
My vote is for circle.
Okay.
I'll also say circle.
I'll say scribble.
Okay. Interesting.
Majority on chart are saying circle, excepting one which says scribble.
Okay. There are other shapes as well. Let's go and look, because this is a rectangle. So as a shape, if you look at rectangle, they have a lot of stress and internal conflict. Of all the shapes, let me inform you, rectangle is the only shape that is not a permanent shape. It's a phase of life, right? Every one of us goes through the rectangle phase in our life. It's not a permanent personality trait. So if there is anyone who has a rectangle as number one shape for them, bravo, because first of all, you've identified that you're going through a phase which may not be the usual being me phase. It's a challenging phase in life, and hence internal stress and conflict reflects in that confusion. That confusion comes from there. The state of transition is what represented by this shape. The confusion, inconsistent, unpredictable. So which seat to take? Do I make the eye contact or not? I really need help. I want to try everything possible, because when I'm in that phase, when we have been in that phase, and if anybody recommended something to us, oh, you don't have a job, why don't you apply there? And we would do that. That only goes to say that we become very vulnerable when we are in this phase. We are open to ideas. We are very inquisitive. We are very questioning everything, because we want to know what's going to happen. This phase, is this going to get over? How does this work? Have you gone through this? So they're ready to try everything and anything. Searching, learning, and growing, and that's why the book. Suggestible, like I said, very impressionable. Now, all these traits that I'm listing here, tell me which phase of life falls under this rectangle. phase of everyone's life? Anyone has any answers? They can just unmute and answer.
Embarking on a new role.
Excellent. New job, new career, new role, any sort of move, you know, whether planned or not, the newness always brings that little anxiety inside, right? Now, when I say phase of life, you know, we have childhood, we have teenage, we have, you know, young adults, and then adulthood, and then, you know, old age. Which phase of life?
Adolescence.
So Deva in the chat has mentioned child phase.
Okay.
I'm saying adolescence. Young adult stage.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yes, it is the adolescence, which is a little bit maybe post-adolescence. So we are talking about teenagers, right? You see how teenagers are always confused. Today they want to do this, tomorrow they want to study this. No, I want to go here, I don't want to go here. They are evolving constantly, and that's why they are so impressionable, right? They are very vulnerable. You see, you give them a recommendation, they get very fascinated by things. They have role models very easily. They follow people very easily, right? This is the phase when this is what is happening. Why? Because they're transitioning, like you were saying, you know, Chitra, that they're moving into a new role. So they don't know if they're children or they're adults now. They're somewhere in between, and that's a big transition phase, and which is a great phase to be. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. Everyone goes through this phase, and when we are in this phase, that's when the creativity strikes the most, because we empower ourselves with the knowledge and learning, because we become so curious, we become so inquisitive. The transition happens in this phase. Most suitable professions are entrepreneurs, animator, head of the department, and public contractor. Could you connect why? Because there's constant evolution, there's constant newness that comes in. They're constantly building something new. And what is in imagination may not come across. So there is a constant evolution. They keep studying, they keep checking things, you know. Being unsure is the phase. Moving on to what works with them, they're open to challenge. In this phase, they'll do anything. Willing to explore and listen, searching, growing, excited about new possibilities, very courageous as well at that moment, because they're ready to try anything. Even you see, when we say middle-age crisis in men, they become very adventurous, right? Things that they've never done before, they start doing all these things. Because now I'm going to retire, they all of a sudden realize that my life is going to change.
Pregnancy.
You know? Pregnancy. Yeah, these are the phases that we go through. And the best thing comes out of that. We become who we will be for the rest of our lives. What does not work is further confusion. So do not confuse them more. Do not confuse them more. They can be influenced, so you have to be very, very empathetic and very considerate. That's why teenagers, you know, need a lot more empathy, more time. They have mood swings, so be aware of their mood swings, because it's not something that they're deliberately doing. It's just this is how they feel right now. They have no choice. Self-doubt, forgetful. They keep losing things here and there. Very vulnerable, unsure, might blame others for their negative feeling because they don't know. They don't know, because they're like, I'm not like this, you're like this. Pregnant women, like you said, you know, teenagers. This is very normal. Is everyone connecting to this? Is this making sense? Yeah? All right. Let's move on to the next person at the airport then. Person number 3 approaches the airline desk with authority, demands flight information, knows exactly what this person wants. I want an aisle seat, and looks for the most exclusive option in flight meal. Travels first class I mean, if they can afford, of course. And wears a designer suit. Why? Because their image is very, very important, right, to this person. Does not handle delays well, because my time is money. What are you doing to me? Prefers to wait at a lounge exclusive for premium customers. Like I said, the image is very, very important. I'm one of a kind. I'm very special. Has good eye contact, not afraid, not confused, wants to look at you. The person will look at you. Very confident in themselves. Confidence, pride, and power handshake. Now, looking at this, oops, I gave it away. Sorry.
But
Sorry, I
quite a
thought there
lot of
was
people
more
had
line.
already put a triangle in the chat box.
Excellent. You guys are getting hang of it. So beautiful. Yes, it is a triangle. When you look at the triangle shape, you can see the shape itself, right? It's very towering. It's very empowering. The triangle has like one direction, you know, very clear. It's not confusing you. You can just point it in one direction. So they are the leader kind of people. They like to lead, not a follower, right? If for example, in an office, if there's a triangle to a what we have studied, box, yeah, the square boss and a triangle employee, you see how difficult it will be, because triangle is very direct. Focus on the goal. Don't waste my time. I don't have time to do the research. I know if we do this, this happens. So just sign the deal. Don't waste my time, right? But the square boss will be like, don't hurry, don't rush. We have to go through this. Show me all the numbers. Show me all the graphs. And also because they're very ambitious, triangle, they can't work for too long under anyone. They will get frustrated. And if you don't give them the opportunity, they would leave probably. Swift decision makers need to be right and control things. Competitive, very competitive. Flamboyant, because their image is very, very important to them. Diplomatic, networker. Why? Because everywhere I go, I have a purpose. They work on purpose. Oh, I should go to that party because I may meet some influential people and I may sell my product there. Everything is networking for them. You will find that even when they're sitting with friends, they will be talking about, you know, who I can convert, what will I get? If I am going to give my 3 hours sitting with you guys, what am I going to get out of it? Very direct. Sorry, Chitra, or someone, you were saying something?
I just said visionary.
Visionary, yes, extremely visionary. Yeah, and the good thing is their vision, they're implementers as well. They will make it happen. They will hire a box or a square and say, you do all this work and make it happen. I know it's possible, just make it happen, right?
I just want to say also as employees, they can be competitive with the leadership.
Yes, yes. And they are the people who will go out of the way to prove themselves. Because they are very ambitious, they want to be the leaders. That's why I say it's very difficult to sustain them under a junior role for a long time. The belief is God helps those who help themselves. So do it now, no time to waste. The kind of profession that they would be extremely good at would be architects, contractor, designer, economist, manager, attorney, soldier, pilot, politician, trade unionist. Very clear goal, very, very clear goal, agenda, and they can make the, what do you say, the paradigm shift happen. Yeah, they're the inventors. Any questions so far? We have triangles in the room. I was hoping that we would have more triangles in today's session. It's connecting to a lot of people. I'm seeing some heads nodding. Yes, excellent. Excellent.
Yes. People are saying there are fans.
So let's see what works for them. They're super high energy. So you cannot just give them mundane tasks. They will be annoyed. You have to give them a task that utilizes their energy. You know, children are the face of triangle face. Children are not rectangle because they are not confused. They are learning new things. And you see how creative they are? They're very assertive. They know what they want, right? They want to play now, they want to play now. super energy, right? So you have to really tire them out to get any work done from them. Can-do attitude. There's nothing that they cannot do. You give them a challenge, accept it because they're so competitive. Firm decisions, commitment to excellence, work hard, play hard type of people. Very confident, influencers, because they have the command. They know what they're talking about. They can deliver the message straight. And always in control. They like to be in control. What doesn't work for them now? Don't be impatient with them. Yeah, because they will have everything sorted, right? You can't push them. They work on their time, not your time. They're very driven already. So your drive can really become like a competition for them. They have inability to admit because they're never wrong. So don't expect an apology. Impulsive with decisions. They take decisions at the top of their head. And that's why, you know, the share market people, if they are triangle, they would do extremely well in situations like this. They're quite manipulative. And why I say manipulative, not in a bad manipulative way. Why manipulative? Because they see themselves first. For them, my time is money. So if I do it this way, maybe she will not question me too much, or he will not question me too much and just do what I say. So they will direct the things to suit them and suit the time that they have at hand. Very low tolerance. Okay. So expectation of high tolerance from them, don't. They get very annoyed very easily. So yes, go ahead, Chitra.
I was just thinking, what if someone had, like I had, a circle and a triangle as, you know?
Excellent, and we'll come to that towards the end. Oh, you're saying you have assistant who are circle and a triangle.
Yeah. No, I'm just seeing as to how I have both when I saw. Maybe the colors appeal to me or whatever, but these are the two that I chose.
We'll see. We still have two more shapes, and you'll see. Okay, just give me till then, and then we'll do a little exercise to just understand how to work with that. So far, so good. No questions. All triangles are happy. Great. Move on to the fourth person. Now, this person is hustling and bustling, arrives breathless, lost. Last minute, they're calling their name. You know, these kind of people. Her dress is trendy, but unique. Nothing normal about it. Carry on is a backpack packed with a CD player, earphones, and 50 other things in their hands. So they want to listen to the music, they want to even play on their phone, they want to read the book at the same time. Wants no travel information. Oh, okay, the flight is delayed, no problem. You know, that kind. Oh, okay, it's okay. Just call me when the flight is leaving. Destination is first time visit and involves extreme sport activities. They want to do everything. They want to explore every new place. Oh my God, why am I doing this? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but people had guessed it, scribble in the chat.
They did. You guys are really good. Okay, so scribble, yes. These are the scribblers. Why scribble? You see how unique this shape is. They're constantly onto one thing or the another. They can't be stuck to one thing only. They want to try everything. The qualities that they have is they're very creative. So they have 100 ideas going on, you know, in their mind. So they want to do this. Oh, let's plan a party like this. Let's do this. I think this is a great idea. Very impulsive. Also very futuristic, because those are very innovative ideas. They're constantly in the zone of idea. So these are the people who live in the la la land, you know, the fantasy land. You see a painting and they will go somewhere else with that painting, you know, even if it's just a dot on the whole canvas. You know, these are the kind of people. They look at the big picture. They like looking at the big picture. Don't go to the details with them. They can't sustain your attention for detail. They can't sustain their attention because their mind is racing so much. By the time they finish one idea, they're already jumping on to the next idea. By the time you comprehend their idea, And you say, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's work on it. Which idea? Forget about that. Let's do this. You see? Very expressive. So they're very loud and they'll be wearing very distinct kind of clothing, very unique, very bold, very one of a kind. They're always excited about everything. Very spontaneous. Need constant stimulation. They cannot sit idle. Constant stimulation. Dislike rules, clearly. Don't tell me what to do, because I can't do that. I'll do what I want to do and when I want to do and how many times I want to do, right? Make sense? Who here is a squiggle? We have squiggles here? Well, bravo, because they are the inventors of the world.
My daughter.
So, great. Life is short, make the most of it. They want to, that's why they're always in a hurry, yeah? And they're the most creative people. So now that you know all these shapes, let me just ask you a question. Which shape do you think the Apple's ex-CEO, I forgot his name. How do I forget his name?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. What do you think his two main shapes? We've already done both the shapes. Which are the two main shapes? Exactly. He's a triangle and squiggle. Or rather he was. So the ideal profession for them are artists, interior designer, inventors, musicians, professor, promoter, researchers, scientists, carpenters. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. What works for them? High energy, life of party, motivating, persuasive. They're always on something or the other. Good sense of humor, receptive to new ideas always. They get very bored if you keep talking about the same thing. Repetitiveness, you've already lost them. Honest expression of feelings. Tell me how you feel. Talk to me, you know, these are the kind of people. And live in social situations. They are comfortable with everything. You can't really put them on a spot on anything. What does not work for them is they're always in hurry. So don't ask them to keep time. They probably don't even wear a watch. They hate wearing a watch. You can't keep a meeting time and expect them to show up on time, because something or the other would have taken their priority. They also interrupt a lot, right? So you will be saying something and their mind is somewhere else. But at the same time, if they are saying something, do not interrupt them, because if they lose their chain of thought, they will be in a total different tangent. They will go completely off subject. They don't listen. They're always daydreaming, fantasize. Rebellious, because they think they have to discover everything in the world. Unpredictable, gets bored easily, not good with follow-ups. So if you're working with a squiggle in your department, one thing you need to do is always check up on them. They don't mind checking up, because they will miss the boat. They will forget something or the other. So always follow up with them. We have any squiggles here on the chat? Okay. Person number 5. The last person arrives late due to conversing with cab and shuttle driver and bye-bye to everyone. Airline staff, they want to talk to everyone. They want to chat with everyone. They want to go to bookstore and look at everything. Bring several family members to see her off. Oh, I'm going. Aren't you coming? Please come. It will make me feel very, very nice. Makes full eye contact and smiles a lot. They're always smiling. They're the kind of people. Hi, how are you? You okay? Good morning. Carry-on bag contains greeting cards to write. Oh, I'm gonna send them post and mail, and I'm gonna keep in contact. Snacks and camera. You don't know who needs it, when they will need it. I need to show them the pictures when I go back. Gets travel, weather, and a lot of other general information from seatmate on the plane. So that means they're very chatty people. They're constantly chatting. And now there is no guess, because that's the last shape, which is a circle. So as you look at the circle, you know it's all encompassing, right? They are all about people, so they can't hurt you. That's why they're always checking to make sure, are you okay? Is everything okay with you? They're super friendly. They're people-oriented people. They're good communicators. Small talks, absolutely no problem. You can chat with them for hours. Nurturing, clearly because they love taking care of people. They're very, very emotional, you know, mushy kind of people. Like harmony, because they don't like disturbance. Oh, two people fighting, it upsets their world. Talk to them, love them. Why are you fighting? Accommodating, empathetic, good listeners, because they like to talk, they listen so that they can pick things, so that they can talk to you back about it. Discipline is the trouble for them because they're always about everyone else. So they can't follow a discipline. Oh, but he told me he wanted my help, or she was not feeling well, so I couldn't do this. They like their own pace, considering everyone else first. These are the people who experience guilt a lot. Oh my God, did I hurt her? Did I say something bad? Is he upset? Is she upset? This is the constant narrative in their mind. The most suitable professions are acting, marketing, historian, housewife, human resources manager, teachers, caterers, and writers. Who do we know? I think we all know at least one circle in our life. Who would that be? In our relationships.
Mother.
Absolutely. Mothers become natural circles. Yeah, they're always constantly. So no matter what shape is their dominant shape, the circle will surface when they become mother, because that nurturing automatically comes up. So in that phase of their life, they become more of a circle than the triangle if they were. Yet a very disciplined mother, right? I care for you, but I'm a triangle also. So don't give me nonsense. I'm not going to take your bullshit. Do your homework. And then I'll love you and cuddle and whatever you want to do, right? That kind of mother. The belief is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? So you don't hurt me because I will not hurt you. So think about what you do before you do anything. What works for them? Circle is a lover. They're very, very good communicator. Yeah, they fall in love with everything. They like everything. Oh my God, that was the best thing I ever ate. Oh my God, that was the best dress ever. That was just the most exquisite, you know, the most and ever, and all these kind of words you will hear them say. Most friendly of all types, good communicators, patient listeners, sensitive, empathetic, natural accommodators. They're the people who want to spend time even with anyone random you meet on the street, you know. Oh my God, yeah, did you not know she lives in the next building? We don't even know. Now she knows everything about their family, you know, that kind of people. What does not work with them? Conflicts. They cannot say no, right? So if you have a circle employee and if you keep giving them work, they'll take it, right? They may not finish it in time, but they'll keep taking because they don't know how to say no. Right? And then they will be sulking inside, feeling guilty, saying, how do I say this? She doesn't see, she doesn't understand. They love being appreciated. That's what they work for, not for the money. Triangle works for the objective. Circle works for appreciation, for the worth, for the value in themselves and the others, right? So be careful. If you see a circle, make sure you check on them. Even if you ask them once a day, you know, how's your day? Are you okay? Everything okay with you? That keeps them going for the rest of the day. Over emotional, self-critical, it's all my fault. Don't distinguish between personal and professional. So they can get very, very friendly and then they get hurt. Yeah. So these are the kind of people. Do we have circles here?
I'm a circle.
Great. Yeah, excellent.
So
I'm glad you guys are connecting. Yes.
Zankhana, Mr. Jha is saying I'm totally confused.
Why?
Yeah.
What happened, Mr.
You
Jha?
want to
Please
say
ask the
something,
question.
Mr. Jha?
Yeah, because the dominant figure was the circle for me. And then when the person started arriving at the airport, I felt I was the first person.
Okay.
And
So,
and there were so many traits of everybody which I thought I had, and so many traits I think I don't have at all. Like I'm an accountant by qualification.
are you a good accountant?
I'm an accountant. So the others have said. So I'm an accountant by qualification. I cannot act for nuts. I didn't like history. I would sleep in the class. But I liked the circle. I thought it was the perfect shape. I don't know. So I'm totally confused because when anything is happening, I'm trying to see fit. So okay, a lot of things fit. A lot of things are totally against. And
It's excellent, Mr. Just. Stay
so
with
I
me.
really don't
Because
know
I'm gonna explain that. I'm gonna explain that. Just stay with me, okay? So now when you look at all these shapes, right? I want to address and say that we all of us have all these shapes. All these shapes exist within us. We are encompassing all the shapes and the traits of all the shape, right? So why we are having to go through a difficult change in our life are rectangle surfaces. Rectangle doesn't stay forever. If I'm a dominant circle, my dominant circle trait will never go. Even if I have to manage a company and now I have become a CEO, which is a triangle, which is exactly opposite to who I am as a circle, I will make decisions, but my decisions will be based on people. You understand? So I will somehow have to bring my triangle up and running. I will have to explore and nurture my triangle in that moment because CEO requires me to be a triangle, right? So I will not probably be a comfortable being that kind of a boss. So I will become a different kind of a boss, right? My kind of a boss. But we all have all these shapes within us. Does that make sense, Mr. Jha?
I guess.
And we'll just see a little bit more. So now when you look at this, you know, I talked about right brain, left brain. You see now the left brain, triangle and box, the right brain, which is circle and squiggle. Yeah, very creative, emotional, very practical on the other side, very, very job oriented. And the rectangle is in the middle because that's the transition. So we keep switching from this to that, but the dominant shape will remain dominant, right? But we will have to work through, and we always do when the need comes. So even if I'm a circle and a squiggle, but if I am doing my job as, like he said, you know, accountant, first of all, I will not take that kind of a job if I'm a circle and a squiggle. But if I have that job, you know, I will have to somehow, no choice, I have to bring my box out of me. In the sense, I have to nurture my box and I have to learn. So then I'm nurturing that shape also. I can switch between the shapes. And that's the ideal thing. The left brain, the right brain, sorry. Left brain and the right brain. And that's what is the best way to be all the shapes so that you can access whatever you want at any given time. Now, this is about knowing ourselves. How do we then communicate to others, right? So understand that all shapes are interdependent and of equal value. There is no good or bad. If you are a triangle, you'll be a great leader, and if you're a circle, you won't be. No, does not exist. Circles are amazing leaders. Yet they are very people-oriented leaders, right? People love them. Those leaders people love, right? Triangle leaders people respect because they get the work done, right? So they're different kind of leaders. So even squiggles are leaders. You know, the art family. You know, I'm an artist. I'm a big squiggle, and yet I'm the best music director or a fashion designer of the world, right? They are the leaders. Healthiest personality is the one who is able to integrate all the shapes within. So if you're identifying multiple characteristics of different shapes, then congratulations, you are actually able to balance all the shapes within you. And we're talking about communication, right? Communication here is about flexing. What does flexing mean? That means when I'm talking to someone, I need to understand now who they are. Now, all I want to do is just look at 3, 4 more people from your life and see what shape they are. Start with your own family member, right? Just make a note and say, I think they are this shape dominant and this shape secondary, this dominant, this secondary, this dominant, this secondary. And know that you are capable of flexing from one shape to another. We are all capable of short-term flexing, right? Now, if my boss is not there, and if I need to take over the position, I will have to be a triangle for a while. So I should be able to flex it. Some do it purposefully. So I know how to be this here and how to be a very different person here. Yeah. Some just have to learn, and some do it unconsciously because they have mastered that trait, right? They know how to bring that triangle out when the need be. Flexing improves your communication. Why? Because now, if I'm talking to a circle, and if I talk like a triangle, the circle will be so offended. He doesn't care, he doesn't respect me, she doesn't think I'm worth it. You understand? So when you understand the other person, first, just in your mind, the words they use, now that you know a little bit characteristics of everyone or every shape. Just in your mind, see which shape they are. What are the key characteristics of these shapes? I'm sorry, I don't know, something happened here. Give me a second. Okay. Consider the situational context. So what is the situation? Because if a circle, if you are going to give them strict instructions in front of their friends, circle children get very, teenagers or adults get very offended. Why did you have to say that in front of everyone, right? You could have told me that in person and be nice to me. So these are the things. Situation is very, very important as well. Decide on communication strategies that would work best with this shape. Be willing to be creative and have fun in this process. So this was supposed to be the exercise that I wanted to do. We can have a 5-minute breakout room. Ashwira, if you can just put them randomly in 4 rooms and assign a shape to each room. And say, if you have to talk to this shape, how would you communicate with this shape? Just write 3-4 points between all of you. Take 5 minutes. And when you come back, just unmute and we'll go each team. So there'll be 4 teams. Sorry, 5 teams. I'm so sorry. 5 teams. Each team assign a shape. Is that okay, Shura?
We can do that, but we are just actually on dot as far as time.
Right?
Yeah. So
okay, that's fine then. But that's fine. Or we can have a role play. So I had a couple of activities lined up, but nonetheless, as long as everyone is getting into what we are talking about, I'm happy with it. Okay. So in the end, I want to say that this is just a snapshot of what this program is all about, psychogeometry. So you can always reach out and learn more about it. You can become a psychogeometric certified person or a teacher as well. There are programs on that as well. And if you want to truly find out what shape you are or your loved ones are or your staff is, then you can send me an email and I can send you the personal inventory test, right? So these inventory tests are designed by Susan Dellinger, and they're only for 550 rupees. So let me know. And that is the end of our today's session. Thank you, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Zankhana. It was wonderful knowing something very novel called the psychogeometrics and how people connect with the shapes. So any questions? We can still accommodate a couple of questions if anybody has. And please feel free to unmute and speak if you want, or raise your hand and then you can unmute.
So I have a question for Mr. Jha. Mr. Jha, does that make sense now?
I don't know. I mean, I will reflect on this. Don't worry. I'll reflect.
All
I mean, yeah, there are people, there are dominant personality, the dominant traits in most of the people, and some people have both the sides of their brain working perfectly all right. Some people have a dominant left side, some people have a dominant right. I've got bosses that way. I was only trying to fit, for me, the circle seemed to be the most appropriate thing. Yes, I think I'm compassionate. Yes, I think I'm understanding. But when the first person came in the airport, and it's all those categories you mentioned, everything seemed to be fitting. I want to be before time. I'm always before time. All those kind of things.
So you are probably dominant circle and a box. So these two are your dominant shapes.
Possibly.
I think it's just like any other personality tool, right? I mean, you have one absolute kind of.
Yeah. There's no black and white. It's all gray. There's no black and white.
And yet, if somebody talks to you about the ideas only, and no action, how would you feel about it?
No, probably I'd probably not feel very, very good about it.
Understand.
But
that's what
I'm very empathetic also. Yeah. And but then I'm not some of the things. So like I told you, there was no perfect fit. There's no perfect fit. So there is a little bit this, there's a little bit this, there's a little bit this. The point is
that's good then.
Yeah.
That's good that you're evolving into every shape, which is the best way to be.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone else?
A lot of comments coming in as a wonderful session, but I don't see a question in the chat. So if there's any question anybody wants to ask, and please.
Thank you.
All right. So no questions. And so thank you so much, Zankhana, for doing this for us. And it was very interesting, very engaging. And I'm sure if anybody, so this is just like very superficial, just the tip of the iceberg. And if anybody wants to go deeper into it, can connect with Zankhana directly. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. And I'm going to put the link for the webinars if you use in the chat box. You may please copy paste the link and submit the form. Thank you, everybody.
Highly appreciate it. It was such a pleasure to meet all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.